Good morning. This is your English teacher, Ms. VIDHYABHAVAN from Srimati LPSAVANI VIDHYABHAVAN, Adajan. In last session, we have completed our first part of the treasure within. Just we will have recap of that and then we will move to the second part. We have studied about office contractor, Ms. Bela Raja. She was taking his interview and in that what he has described about himself. When office contractor was in first and second standard, he was excellent. But when he came to third standard, he started playing pranks on others and he was distracted from his studies. And what he used to do, he used to copy or used to steal the papers from the teachers from the school and he used to study that and pass. When he came till 9th standard, he passed with copying only. But when he came to 10th standard, it was not possible for him to copy and pass. So in 10th standard, in SSC, what he did, he studied and he passed with 50%. Now, what his principal told him that, see, till 10th standard, I kept eye on you, but now onward after you have to you have to see after yourself. So from here we will start with our second part. Now Bela Raja is asking office contractor, how did you get into the field of architecture? Now what Miss Bela asked the contractor that how he ended up being an architect. Office contractor replied, in the college for architecture, nobody had got below 80-85% was allowed to enter. I had only 50%. I wanted to join the army. I got my admission letter, but my aunt tore it up. Tore it up means destroyed it up. Then I decided that I wanted to join the police force. My mother said, don't join the police force, just do your graduation. So I went to Jain College in Bombay. There I was to either take French or German. Though I had studied French for 7 years, I did not know 7 words of French. So I took German. Then my German teacher died. The college told me that I could change the college or take French. Now who would give me admission in another college? I had got admission to Jain by influence. Influence means an important person recommended him for admission. So I thought, okay, I will take French. And after I started learning French again, I learned it from my cousin. She was an architect's wife. I was going to an architect's office to learn French. Here office contractor told Miss Bela that those who got less than 80-85% were not allowed to pursue architecture in college and he had only 50%. He revealed that he was to serve in an army and he even got his admission letter, but his aunt tore it. He then decided to join the police force, but his mother advised him to pursue his graduation. So he took admission in Jain College in Bombay, now known as Mumbai. In college, he got a choice between studying French or German. He said that although he had learned French for 7 years, he didn't know even 7 words of the language. So he felt it was better to take German. After a while, his German teacher passed away. So he was proposed by the college to either take French or change his college. He changed his language to French because he would not get admission in any other college. In this college, also he got admission through contact. So he began learning French again, this time from his cousin who was married to an architect. Thus he used to go to an architect's office to study French. Now again Miss Bela Raja asked him Was it then that you decided you wanted to be architecture? Miss Bela Raja asked him if it was when he began to an architect office that he decided he wanted to pursue architecture. Office contractor then replied, actually it was and happened quite by chance. In the architect office, I saw somebody drawing a window detail. A window detail is a very advanced drawing. I told him that his drawing was wrong, that the window he had drawn would not open. He then had a bet with me, and later he found that indeed his drawing was wrong. My cousin's husband was surprised. He asked me to draw a few specific things, which I immediately did. He asked me to design a house, and I designed a house. After that, he told me to drop everything and join architecture. We went to meet the principal of the college. The principal warned me, I will allow you to take part in the entrance exam, but if you do not do well, I will not allow you to join. Now Hafiz told Miss Bela Raja that it was all a matter of chance that he ended up doing architecture. He goes on to tell a story about how once when he was in the architect office, he saw someone drawing a window detail which he specified was a very advanced drawing. Hafiz saw it and told the person who was drawing was not right. He added that was this design the window would not open. So they bet upon it, and later it turned out that Hafiz was right and the window he drew would not open. The architect, Hafiz's cousin's husband, was amazed by this, and he asked Hafiz to pen out a few other sketches, which Hafiz easily did. If he asked him to draw a house, he drew a house. The architect was so impressed that he advised him to drop everything immediately and enter the line of architecture. He even went to the principal of the college with Hafiz. The principal allowed him to appear for the entrance exam, but he warned Hafiz that he will not get admission if he does not perform well in the entrance. Then Hafiz said to Miss Bela that I got an A+ in the entrance exam, and from that day it was a cakewalk. Cakewalk here means something easy to achieve. I had never made a plan, but I knew how something looked like from the top. I had never known what a section was, but I knew if you cut a plane, what it would look like. I took first class first throughout after that. I believe that all this understanding came from what I used to play and do during school. I have a friend called Behram Devesha. We used to have competition between us for designing forts, guns, and ammunition. Each of us would design something in an effort to be different. In school, when I was in the second or third standard, one of my teachers, Mrs. Gupta, saw my sketches and told me, see, you are useless in everything else, but your sketches are good, but your designs are good. When you grow up, you become an architect. I did not know at the time, but she was right. Later, after I became an architect, I went back to meet her and tell her, here Hafiz appeared for the entrance exam, bagged an A+, and from that day onward, it was a smooth ride for him. He never made a plan, but he was aware of things looked like from above. Similarly, he had never known what a section was, but he knew how a plan would look like if you cut it out. He always stood first in his class. According to him, his great understanding of the architecture came from how he played and did all other activities in school. He tells Miss Bela about one of his friends named Behram, with whom he used to compete about designing forts, guns, and ammunition. Miss Bullet, both of them would really put in a lot of effort in order to be different and make their speech stand out. Even in his school, when he was in second or third standard, a teacher named Mrs. Gupta told him when she saw his sketches that his work was good. She liked her sketches. She mentioned that she knows he was useless in almost everything else, but she advised him to be an architect. Later, when he became one, he went to see her and tell her about it. Now again Bela Raja asked Hafiz, why do you think you did not like studies? Was it because you felt you could not cope? Cope here means manage. Could not deal with the curriculum. Curriculum here means course of study. Miss Bela Raja want to ask Hafiz contractor what according to him was the reason behind his disliking of the study. She asked him if it was being unable to cope up or deal with the curriculum that made him dislike studying in school. Hafiz Raja replied, I was very bad at languages. Science and geography I could deal with. Maths were very bad. I just was not interested. I was studying for the sake of studying. What they taught me today, I would forget after 2 days. I would not bother because there was no application. Application here means use. No application of mind there to begin with. Now what Hafiz contractor want to tell that here he want to tell that he was hopeless bad at languages. He could still tolerate science and geography. Probably because of the logic and fact, but he was very bad at mathematics. He confessed that he was simply not interested. He studied only for the sake of doing it, and not because he was interested. He would often forget whatever was taught to him after 2 days. Why this was the reason? Because he was not interested in study. He says that he don't even try because there was almost negligible application of mind and logic in it. Again, Bela Raja asked Hafiz, did you think that what they taught in school was boring? Or did you feel that once you understand the concept of what was being taught was lost interest in the rest of the lesson? Now here Bela Raja wants to ask Hafiz to understand the contractor point of view better. She asked him if he considered whatever that was being taught to him as boring as it was the case, where he would lose interest in the lesson once he got hold of the main concept behind what was being taught. Now, asking this question, Hafiz contractor replied her, living in a boarding school is difficult. We were just living from day to day. Nowadays, there are so many tests. Back then, whenever we have tests, we used to just copy. The teacher thought that we had done our work. Now here, Hafiz want to tell Miss Bela Raja that life in boarding school is very hard. So they just lived one day at a time. He says that nowadays there are so many tests, but back then this was not the case. Test was not the case because he knew what he will do in the test. The only thing was he used to do was to copy. They rarely had any tests back then, and whatever they had won, they would just copy. This would make the teacher think that students have done their work. Now, Miss Bela Raja asked him, there is a contention. Contention means belief that giftedness and learning disability go hand in hand. Giftedness means genius. And here, disability means weakness. Means asking what Bela Raja want to ask was that genius and learning this weakness go hand in hand. Hand in hand here means together. Do you think this applies to you? Now what she want to ask is, generally believe that special abilities and learning disability come together. She asked Hafiz if he thinks that this is the case with him. Now what Hafiz contractor replied on this question was, now on this Bela Raja question, Hafiz contractor's reply was, well, take some students from my school class. Those who always stood first or second are today doing very ordinary job. Now what Hafiz contractor want to tell was, what he want to compare was that his fellow classmates who were back the first or second position in academics but are now doing very typical and common job. Now on this answer, Bela Raja asked him, I have come across this situation in so many different places where people tell me that their class toppers are doing very ordinary today. What Bela agrees with Hafiz, as this is something she has come across in so many different places where she has taken the interviews or when she has seen all these things, where people have told her that their class toppers are not doing anything extraordinary now. Hafiz contractor replied here, in school I think living our lives were made us street smart. Street smart here comes for the smart by doing independently, because living in a boarding school and that too independent, so they have to do their own work. They have done their own work. I have learned more by doing what I did on my own. That was academic would have taught me. What about telling that what he learned was his own. He got support from academics, but what he has done of his own. According to the contractor, living life to the fullest, especially in school, make people street smart, make people independent. He himself had learned more by doing things on his own than what academics would have ever taught him. Now what Bela Raja wants to ask is, that is because the personality and skill were there. You were able to find expression in a manner you are comfortable with. And you defied, means you broke every rule so that nobody would stop you from doing what you needed to do. Now what Miss Bela Raja explained to Hafiz, that in doing other activities or while participating in sports, skills or are involved, and one personality gets enhanced. One gets exposure which helps them to find expression in a manner which is comfortable for oneself. Hafiz defied each rule in order to do what he needed to do without letting anybody or anything stop him. Now Hafiz tells that I was more interested in other things. If, for example, when in class it started raining outside, I would think of flowing water and how to build a dam to block it. Block it means to stop it. I would be thinking about the flow of water within the dam and how much of water the dam would be able to hold. To hold means to contain. That was my interest for the day. When students lost a button, while playing or fighting, they would come running to me and I would cut a button for them for chalk using a blade. Discipline in the school was very important and no student could afford to have a button missing. The student would get past dinner with a full neat uniform, and after that it did not matter. Now what Hafiz wanted to explain was that he was most attracted by other things, not by studies. For example, it was raining outside while he was in class, then he would begin thinking about the flowing water, and from there he would think about building a dam to stop it. He would go into the depth and think about the flow of water inside the dam, and moreover about the dam capacity to hold water. It would become the topic of interest for the day. He was so smart that whenever someone lost button of their shirt while playing or fighting, they would come to him. He would cut a piece of chalk with a blade to make a button for him. Even a thing as button were very important because in school discipline was very important. They had to get past dinner time in proper uniform because post dinner it did not matter. Now Bela Raja asked, coming to the present, how do you decide as to what kind of structure you want to give a client? Now what kind of structure means what kind of building you want to give to the client. Hafiz replied, I looked at the client's face, his clothes, the way he talks and pronounces, the way he eats, and I would know that his taste would be like. I can relate to people in a way they would be comfortable. I sketch very spontaneously. Spontaneously here means happening naturally, on a paper on the spot. That paper I give to my people in the office. Now how he shares that first he analyzes his clients by looking at their faces, noticing their dressing sense, the way they talk and pronounce, their taste and style of eating. He says that he can relate to people in a way that is comfortable for both the parties. He is very much interested when it comes to sketching the structure. He does it on the paper on the spot, which he would then give to the people of his office. Now what Bela Raja asked, you do it intensively? Intensively means naturally. Miss Bela Raja confirmed if artist wants to say that he was based on his natural instinct. What the artist replied was, call it instinct, call it arithmetic, whatever now it comes to be like mathematics, putting designs, construction, psychology and sociology together and making a sketch from all this is mathematics. Artist contractor explained that they can call it whatever they want, whether instinct or arithmetic. He feels that it comes to him like mathematics now. All he does is put design, construction, psychology and sociology together and make a sketch from everything that is mathematics. Here we almost come to a full circle where Mr. Contractor had derived his own interpretation, means his own understanding about mathematics. Taking it from a subject he hated to a subject he now loves dealing with. He now was dealing with, because taking with the subject mathematics, he used to have nightmares, and now he is working with the same subject and with his own interest. The phrase almost comes to a full circle means that Hafiz Contractor dislikes mathematics to the extent that he used to get nightmares about it, but in the end, he says that he does his work from all that is mathematics. He has derived his own meaning of the subject mathematics, and earlier it was a subject that he disliked so passionately, but now he loves dealing with it. So here we come to the end of this topic. Today I'll be sending you, after this, I'll be sending you question answers PDF. You have to complete that, and also the meanings which are given in the textbook. Okay. Stay home, stay safe, and thank you.